Alright, today I'm going to be ranking the top 10 hats that I personally own. These are hats that I have worn at one point at least once and that I would consider part of my main hat group, I suppose. So we're going to start it off right in the middle with this hat. This hat is a Creature Skateboards hat, and I honestly have not worn it very much, but I love the design. It's very cool. It's very like old school style, I suppose. Very comfortable, very good hat. It's a snapback, so full adjustable. I'd have to give this a solid B tier. The only reason I'd give it a B is just because I don't really wear it very often, and I don't really skate as heavy anymore as I used to when I purchased it, which even then I wasn't really wearing it. But, you know, it's a solid B because it's nostalgic, it's a good hat, it's a good company, and I really enjoy it. Number two, we'll go this hat. This is a Crumble Cookie hat. I applied to Crumble Cookie as a joke, and I actually ended up getting hired, and I went through the full process of getting everything. And then I never ended up working there because I realized that this job was not for me, and I did not want to be in that environment of my own accord. So I've worn this hat maybe twice, never at work ever, because I never ended up even working a full day, or any day actually. I did the interview orientation process, that was about it. So this hat was not very comfortable. The back is not very adjustable friendly. It's just a cheap hat that, you know, you're required to wear if you work a job that involves food basically. Lots of jobs have these. So I will give this a solid D tier. It's not awful, but it's not really great either. I wouldn't ever choicefully wear that hat. For number three, we're gonna go this hat. This hat is pretty important to me. It's an Arkansas Razorbacks hat, and as I'm sure you can tell, it's very beaten and disheveled because for a very long time this was the daily hat. This was the hat I wore pretty much every day when I wanted to wear a hat. And my buddy went to Arkansas and she came back with this hat for me. So I really like this hat. It's pretty important. I got a lot of family from Arkansas. I've been there a bunch, so it's a pretty important hat for a lot of reasons. It was a gift. It represents a place where a lot of my family's from, and I have a lot of roots too. So pretty important hat. And obviously, it's pretty fucking destroyed. I was a rather big fan of this hat, so this is gonna be a solid A tier for sure. So we're gonna do this next, number four. This is the hat I would wear every day before the Razorbacks hat. This hat is a Tillamook cheese hat I picked up at the Tillamook factory in Tillamook, Oregon, with the same friend who purchased the Razorbacks hat for me. So this hat is very important to me. It's actually the hat that got me into wearing hats again because I liked it so much. Um, I love the color. It's very disheveled and messed up too. You know, I wore this hat like every day. Um, it gets a very high number of compliments, which is very surprising to me because to me this is just like it's a very cool hat obviously, but it's very normal. It's just like an orange hat. This is Tillamook, but when I was wearing this very consistently, I would get compliments weekly on it, which I thought was very interesting because it's just a hat. But everyone I've ever known has really liked this hat, and I really like this hat too. So I'm gonna have to give this the first S tier because it is the hat I probably wore for the longest amount of time before switching hats. All right, for number five, we are gonna go with um this hat. This is a hat that says Daddy, which I believe was purchased from Zumiez, Spencer's, or Hot Topic, one of those sorts. So this hat, I did not purchase myself. It was given to me by a friend's ex-girlfriend, and I never really wore it because the back was very similar to the Crumble Cookie hat. It wasn't very adjustable ever. Um, and it just wasn't the most comfortable. I didn't really like how it looked. I didn't really like that it said daddy either because that's pretty, it's just not my thing, you know. If that's your thing, totally cool, and I totally respect that. But personally, putting daddy on a hat for me is not my thing. especially just like wearing that out in public. So this hat actually did serve a purpose though. I pretty much wore this hat whenever I was doing something like weird, but I wanted to wear a hat also. So there was one time I spray dyed my hair, but I still wanted to wear a hat on top of it. So I wore this hat because I would rather this hat get messed up with the dye than any of my like actual hats. So if I was ever doing something super weird and I thought there was a high chance that my hat would get dirty, lost, or anything like that, I would wear this hat. And it definitely did serve a good function, and I do keep it around specifically for that reason, and I haven't had to use it in a while, but because of its purpose, despite me not being a very big fan of it, I will have to give this a C tier because it is functional. Alright, so for the next hat, we are going to do this hat. This is a Lurking Class Down with My Demons hat, which I'm a very big fan of the design. However, it's pretty flat build. I'm not a very big fan of the flat build hats. I just don't think they fit my head very good. And I used to be the complete opposite way when I was younger, when I first got into hats. I would always wear flat hats, and that's exclusively what I wore. But as I got older, and then I stopped wearing hats, and then I started wearing hats again, I was like, wow, this is super uncomfortable, and I really don't like how it looks even. I just think the curved bill is a lot more, like, it just looks better, I'd say. It looks better, it feels better on my head. So yeah, I don't wear this hat pretty much ever. I don't think I've worn this hat in quite a few years. I've been thinking about just bending the bill and seeing if it fits better because it's a cool hat. Like, I do like the design, but I just honestly don't ever wear it. It's adjustable though. It's got a cool design. It's from a good brand. I enjoyed Lurking Class. But I will have to give this a D tier because I don't really have a lot to say on it, despite that it looks good and it's a lot more comfortable than something like the Crumble Cookie hat. So I will put this above the Crumble Cookie hat for sure, but it definitely is still in the same rank. For the next hat, this is another flat build hat, but it's a hat I actually did wear pretty consistently. This is just an all black hat. You'd find it like whatever, the hat shops in the mall are. Pretty just standard. It's like the default one that I believe you'd take to get embroidered. I did receive this hat for free, and I did wear it pretty periodically. It fits good. It doesn't have an adjustable back or anything, but it's definitely a solid hat. Um, I do like this hat, but I don't ever wear it because it's just plain black, and it's also flat. So I would definitely put this in the same realm as the daddy hat for sure, but I have a lot more sentimental value towards it. So I will be putting it in the C tier because of all those reasons. Again, I probably would wear this hat if I had to do something very specific and I was worried about losing a hat I cared about a lot. I probably would pick this one, but the first choice would obviously be the daddy hat. Alright, so the next hat we're going to do is this hat. I really, really like this hat. It's a little uncomfortable compared to the rest of the hats. It just fits a little different. But this is a Timberlands hat, a Tim's hat, if you will. It's very comfortable, despite it not being as comfortable as the rest of the hats on this list. The whole hat is made out of a suede material, so it's a little slippery on your head, and it can come off a little easy. And the front is a little bulged compared to the rest of the hats, so it can look a tiny bit awkward, but typically I don't really see an issue with it. I wanted this hat because I really like the Timberland brand. I have lots of their boots. I have a hoodie. I just think they're a great brand. And this hat was on sale when I found it, so I definitely was like, okay, I should probably buy this hat. I also really liked the color. It's a more like wheat color, and I don't really have a lot of hats like that. Most of my hats are kind of darker tones that I actively wear, at least, like the Tillamook hat. The Tillamook hat is actually one of the brighter tones I wear, but most of them, like the Razorbacks hat and then the hats coming up, are definitely more darker toned. So I really, really like this hat. I don't wear it as much because of the whole like slippery thing. But I definitely will give it a solid A. It's a great hat. It looks great. It's actually never been dirty ever, despite it's very, it's like suede material. I feel like that's a very easy material to get dirty. It still looks good after all the time I've had it. It's actually the only hat I have sitting next to me right now, and it looks great. Honestly, I have no complaints. Fully adjustable, snapback in the back, so easy to do all that. For our next hat, we will do this hat. This is a hat I wear for my current job as a security guard. I have blurred out the logo just for privacy reasons, but just imagine a police badge on the front. You know, you get the idea. That's basically what what it looks like. So I'm a big fan of this hat because I don't currently have any black hats that are like curved and as comfortable as this one. I have the all black flat bill, but this one just fits a little better. So I like the black hat because it goes with a lot of what I'm wearing. The logo's not over the top. I do wear this outside of work occasionally because it's very comfortable and I do like how it looks. Um, Goes with a lot of stuff I wear, darker clothes, just anything like that. I don't like how I believe it's an iron-on patch. It's just put on to a plain black hat, but it's completely like crooked. I don't know if you can tell by the photo, but it's very crooked. It's not very aligned. It doesn't really go down the middle stitching of the hat, so it kind of looks crooked when I'm wearing it sometimes. If I put it on and I go look in the mirror, it does look a little crooked just because it's the badge patch isn't centered, but you know that's not a big deal because ultimately I'm wearing it because it's black, not for the patch. So I'll give this a solid B tier for sure. It's not as good as anything above it, but I would put it above the creature hat comfort wise, and due to the fact that I just wear it very consistently. Um, it's also a good hat to wear at work. It's not like the cheap crumble cookie hats. There's definitely a level of quality behind it, unlike these. So let's move on to the 10th hat. So this is the 10th hat on my list, and it is the one I currently wear nearly every day. This hat was a gift from a cousin of mine who lives in Arkansas. He has his own business, and he sent me a little care package full of a few things for his business, this being included. And I actually really, really like this hat. It's a very good color. It fits amazing. It reminds me a lot of my Tillamook hat. It's about the same style. It has the same trucker back, basically, where it's all open. It's a trucker hat. Snapback, fully adjustable. I love the color. It's very dirty. I wear it all the time. Uh, Pretty much doing everything. So it has like sweat stains, and I've gone running in it. I've gone to the gym in it. So it's a little dirty, but you know, it holds up. It's a great hat. I've never had a single issue with it. I've taken it to a lot of concerts with me. It's pretty much been the go-to hat for basically everything. For about the last year and 2 months, I'd say I've been wearing this pretty consistently. I will switch it up still, and I do wear the Tillamook hat every now and then. Sometimes I'll wear the Razorbacks, and then I do wear the Timberlands hat also. So it's not always on my head, but typically, you know, it is the one that is. So I have a lot to say about this hat, but I'll just put it in the S tier because that's definitely where it belongs. For some reason also, I don't know why, but the background of that hat's picture is very like overexposed for some reason compared to the rest of the hats. They were all taken in the same lighting, so I don't really know why that one's more exposed. Alright, now for the final hat. If you've noticed, we already have 10 hats ranked, and I've unintentionally ranked them in a very boring way. But this is my bonus hat. This is my witch hat that I wore. I wore it with a Halloween costume, and honestly, this hat is just hard as hell. Like, would you ever catch me leaving the house just on a normal day with this hat on? Absolutely not. But this hat is hard as hell. It's funny to put on for pictures with my friends or just for no reason. If we're doing something odd and we're like, oh, let's put that hat on, it'll make this picture better. Or if we're taking a video, like, oh, put this hat on. It's just a good hat to, have around. It's funny, it's big, it looks good. It was like $5 or something at Spirit Halloween. I got it like really cheap, just for a quick little costume I threw together. It's a great hat, honestly. It's just a great little hat to have lying around. It just pretty much sits on my coffee table and does nothing. Or if I have shit on my coffee table, it moves to the floor temporarily. It's a great hat though, honestly. I love this hat, and I could go on about it, but it's really amplified some pictures. If I can find pictures of my friends wearing this hat, I will definitely include them, which I probably will be able to find these pictures. But yeah, I'll have to give this a right in the middle B. It's a very solid hat, and it's very good, and it also makes the tier list symmetrical, so that's great. If you noticed, I didn't put anything in the F tier. That's because all of these hats are amazing despite their flaws, and I don't believe any of them deserve the F tier. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you for watching me rank hats for 16 minutes. Yeah, I'm sure I'll probably do something dumb like this again, Thank you for the support.